What's up, y'all? Welcome. Part 2 of 9 of the Modern Men and Women series. I was honestly thinking about labeling it modern men versus modern women, because that's what it is, because we recognize since traditionalism and chivalry and all that other complementary stuff has been killed, we moving into a different age or a different time of relationships when it comes to men and women, right? So I almost thought about calling it that. But anywho's, I got a message, right? The patriarch is of God, is not of men. Because there's a lot of women out there that think that they're gonna go against the patriarch because they're going against men in general. But the patriarch is of God. The book of Genesis, the word Genesis means origin or beginning, right? But not only is it the origin or the beginning, it's also a book of natural order, how he set things in order, not just by creation, but by order of dominion and by chain of command. Now, when you have God, man, then woman, then everything is cool, everything is acceptable. But then when you have serpent, woman, and man, you see how backwards that is? Then you have chaos, which will happen in the garden. Now, the feminists attacked on a patriarch. It is an assault against men in general, but men didn't create the patriarch. God did, because God is a he. God is a him. God is a male, a man. And then he had created, well, he's more than a man. Y'all get what I'm talking about, right? But he had created and he set things in such an order the way he knew it was going to be. And if it was going to be the way he had it, everything was going to be good until the garden incident happened. And then Eve decided that she didn't want to listen to her husband or listen to the man who listened to God. She decided that she wanted to listen to the serpent. And then after she did that, Adam decided he wanted to listen to Eve. And then you have sin. All right? Now, rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. So naturally, with the feminist movement, of course, it depends on who you ask, but we know better than this. Women want to be equal to men. They want to be like men, which is the same thing that Lucifer said when he wanted to be like God. He said, I want to be like God. I want what God has. That's also saying I want to be equal with God. You know why? Because he was dissatisfied with his natural being, his natural role, just like women were and are. And now, ever since the women liberation has happened, well, here in American society, we've been having a lot of crazy things happen, which is what I'm going to talk about now, is how there has been an increase of problems. These problems have always been around, and some may not have increased by much, but it's definitely been an increase. All right? Because nothing has influenced American society over the past 50 to 70 years more than feminism itself. So when people say, well, society tells women this or society tells women that, that's not true. Because nothing has influenced American society over the past 50 to 70 years more than feminism. So it's not society tells women this. It's women tell women this. It's not society tells women that. It's women tell women that. Then they get mad at whoever is not a woman about the results of anything that goes on if it isn't beneficial for them. All right? And then women stick together even during times of hypocrisy. All right? Now, back to the problems. Now, we're at a record high for STDs, record high for divorces, record low for religiosity. Okay? Record high for abortions. What else you had a record high for? I'm trying to think. There's some records being broke out here. Oh, we're at a record high for people. I'm talking about America. We're at a record high Man, my voice is all messed up. I need to take my fat butt to sleep. I'm about to eat this pizza before I do it, though. Now, a record high for people taking more than 2 or 3 different kinds of prescribed drugs. Now, let's take this for example. Um, like a person would be taking something for maybe diabetes or maybe a physical problem, maybe high blood pressure or but they'll also be taking something for anxiety or something for depression or bipolar disorder. We're at a record high for that. All these problems have been here since before feminism, but since women have came out and with their liberation, these problems have been increased. And honestly, I'm not going to downplay mental disorders, but I think that a lot of folks are just stressed out these days. We live in the time, these are very stressful times. Now back to that patriarch is of God and with Adam and Eve. Men and women are different. That's the problem. They're different. And I don't believe that men and women are equal. But I believe that they both have a purpose. I believe that men and women go together. You have a masculine world and you have a feminine world. When you put them together, you have a complete world. That's why I think, man, women acting the way that they're acting today is kind of thrown off the cosmic scale, if you ask me. All right. Now, back to what I was going to say about that garden is that when it came down to punishments in the garden, God told the man that because you ate of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, you should eat of it all the days of your life. All right. And then he told the woman that because you ate of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, you shall what did he say? He said your husband shall rule over thee. Your desire shall be to your husband, and your husband shall rule over thee. All right, and your husband shall rule over you, and then in childbearing, and in your sorrow you will bring forth children. So that's the judgments. That's the reason why men have a different kind of outlook when it comes to life in general, because we have to eat of the tree of knowledge of good and evil every single day. And that's why women don't have the same outlook as men. And that's why men are the protectors, the builders, and all the physical stuff in this world. And women are the ones who take care of things that are already. We build the things, women take care of it. That's how it goes. But they dissatisfied with their roles, that's on them. All right. Now, a lot of women are out here working these jobs and then trying to be mommy and daddy and all that, and it's stressing them the heck out. And now they're taking all these drugs because they're depressed and anxious and all that. I think we all just stressed the mess out. I be stressed out. But back to what I was saying though. When these problems with religion being at a record low is because when you have religions in general, even if you have a religion that is pro-sex, it still doesn't let you just go out there and do whatever you want. You can't have purposeless sex. Well, you can, but you don't find many nations or many countries or many times or many religions or many lands, right, where you have purposeless sex. Because we all know that sex is pleasurable and it's natural, but it's also a sacred act. Now, women, they wanted to be liberated to have sex and all that. So now when you ask somebody or when people talk about religion, they be like, yeah, I believe in a God, or they believe in certain things. They have a mixture of all these beliefs, but it comes down to people. They be like, look, I believe in my own thing. You know why they say that? Because a lot of religions and stuff like that, they don't allow you to live a life without standards or commandments. And that's what this new age movement and stuff is about. It's all this. I believe in this. I believe in that. It's all about, man. People out here. I'm telling you, this stuff is crazy. Women are more likely to be involved in witchcraft than men are. Men are more likely to be involved in like history, science, religion that has codes, creeds, commandments, that have standards. Men are more likely to be involved in philosophy and all that stuff. Something old, something like Aristotle or Plato, something old. They'll read old religious texts and take what's useful for them in their life and go put that. But women are more likely to get involved in self-help groups. They're more likely to get involved in witchcraft, whether it's black witches or white witches. They're more likely to do hoodoo and voodoo. They're more likely to cast out spells and do all types of prayers and rituals and all these, join this group and do this stuff and all these mantras and chants and all this. And then another thing is that the STDs is spreading around like crazy. You know why? because folks forgot that sex is also sacred. So it's more important that you catch you a STD to get you some raw sex in, because raw sex is better than for you to wrap it up. And women are more likely to jump on board with other movements that men are not likely to jump on board with, like the LGBTQ movement or whatever it is now. They, you know what I'm saying? Every time I don't look it up a lot, but every couple of years it seems like they add another letter, and I'm not paying attention like that. And then you got fat acceptance, and then you got the that whole movement. It wasn't exactly the Latina movement, but the whole deportation movement with the Mexicans and all that. It was women up on that one too. Black Lives Matter, is women out there. They always pushing these agendas. Most men don't be getting involved in these things. You know why? It's because women feel like, because of their liberation that they have received, that it's their obligation to push others forward to get their freedom or whatever it is. But it's too many things going on these days. It's more, you'll more likely find that a woman would take her son and try to turn her son into a girl than you'll find a father trying to take his girl and try to turn her into a son. You get what I'm saying? Women just be on board with all this other stuff that men just don't be on board with. And then when it comes to the economy and job market, since women been liberated, they've been working full-time jobs, and they've been trying to be mommy and daddy, having their own places and stuff. That actually made it difficult for people to have jobs in general, especially good ones, because there's just more people looking for jobs in general. That's not their fault. So I'm not blaming women for that. But one thing I can say is that because the women's liberation and the way the workplace is designed, there are jobs that men don't really want to take because they don't want to risk getting accused of anything when they're at the job. And plus, because a lot of companies are politically correct and they really care about how the public views them, they hire women. Women get jobs over men all the time because they're women, because it's politically correct to do. All right, and that's made it difficult on the American economy, American society, as opposed to when there's traditionalism, where a woman would stay home with the kids, or a woman just take a part-time job, and then a man would work a full-time job, or may work a full-time 2-3 jobs, and then it'd be mostly men working. So that's what made it difficult as well. Um, Trying to think, got me some points. Abortion. Men aren't pushing for abortion the way women are. Women are protesting, they hollering and screaming, they acting crazy. What's up with the slut walks and stuff? I've seen some videos on YouTube about that. I didn't get into it. I'm like, that is so crazy. I'm like, shoot, slut walk. Are you serious? You come outside trying to protest something? Brother ain't trying to hear that or see that. That stuff is crazy. But women are more pushing for abortions more than men. Yep. And then when it comes down to complaining, even after all of this, that's another thing I want to say. When it comes down to the female women, the liberation, whatever, the feminists, y'all got to remember that us men in general, we never requested a change. Men used to spend their lives miserable trying to be with a wife and raise the kids, working a job that he hates because he figures, shoot, it's only so much complaining you could do in life and ain't nothing gonna change. Y'all women, y'all broke the ice on that, because that's what a lot of women do. As far as the feminist movement, y'all haven't really done your own little movement. There was always men somewhere, somehow, and most of those men were guilt tripped, most of those men were guilt tripped into helping the feminist movement. Y'all didn't really put your own work in like that, you know. And tell me I'm lying. It wasn't just a couple years ago when they had all these commercials on TV talking some lean in, trying to tell you this is how men can help women. Nobody asked you. You making commercials trying to tell men how to help you. Well, that's y'all movement. Do y'all thing. Anybody hating on y'all because we didn't request a change. The sad part is that so many men are complacent or just don't trip off of life, because a lot of dudes are just coochie worshippers. You know what I'm saying? If a man believes that if he lets a woman behave however she want to behave and he still got a chance at getting the coochie, even if it's a 0.001 chance at getting the coochie, he'll let that woman act however he want to act. A lot of dudes are just pussy worshippers, and that's just how it is. I can't stand them dudes, dude. They make it hard for dudes. Hey, yo, dudes like me can't have standards because a lot of dudes don't care, man. I'm telling you, a lot of times, man, when it comes to dudes, they get with the first woman who shows them good attention and gives them some real sex. You know, the first woman that has sex with them on a regular basis, and the first woman who shows them some attention or likes them, that's the chick that most dudes marry, or that's the chick that most dudes put a child in. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard for a lot of us brothers to have standards out here because of these other cats out here just thirsty. Thirsty as dirt. Never underestimate the power of the thirst, man. These dudes is thirsty out here. That's besides the point. Yeah, but men, we never requested a change, though. We didn't request a change. And we still ain't requested change. Now, when people want to know, like, when it happened, when the things had went down in the garden between Adam and Eve, Eve bit first and then Adam bit the fruit too. How silly was that? But check this out. Like, folks want to know, like, what should Adam have done? He should have let her face the consequences of her own actions. Because when it comes down to things that are happening today, even in the Bible, for some reason nobody cares about the men. It's always about why ain't the man protect the woman? Why ain't the man protect the woman? Even today they be talking about how women have no covering, how men need to protect women. A man's not supposed to protect a woman who doesn't follow him. If a man tells you not to do something and you go off and do it, he's supposed to let you bear the consequences of your actions. So when Eve had bit of that fruit, Adam was he shouldn't have followed her up on that one. Adam should have told her, look, you shouldn't have done that. I'm going to let God deal with you. He shouldn't have touched that fruit. Now we have a feminist movement going around. Then we have some other things that have been spawned in reaction to the feminist movement, like MGTOW, men going their own way. You got Save Yourself Black Men, SYSBM. Then you have Idmore, Introspective Black Men of Reform. Then you have Red Pill, and then all this other stuff that's pretty much saying, look, something's not right with the kind of women that we have today. We're going to have to go ahead and run some observation on these women and make a good move. And a lot of these movements are saying, no, we just done with a certain kind of woman. And those certain kind of women usually be feminist women who are pro-abortion, pro-homosexuality or bisexuality. They're not religious and they don't really respect religion. So a lot of men are just letting women deal with the consequences of their actions. And guess what? It's still men's fault. But no. In order for things to work, men have to lead and women have to follow. Yeah. And another thing is that here's another thing. Y'all abandoned your role as helpmeet. Here's the thing about women being helpmeet. That's not of men either. God did that. God looked at man and said it's not good for man to be alone. I'm going to make him a helpmeet. God did that. God said that man needed women's help. Y'all decided y'all ain't want to play your role. Now look at what we got going on. We got a lot of dudes growing up acting like women. Got a lot of women growing up acting like men. Sometimes it's in their speech. You got a lot of dudes running around talking for talking's sake, talking to cover silence. That's a woman's thing. We got a lot of women out here walking around talking about I got this degree and I got this job, as if men care about that. We've been telling y'all for the longest time we don't care about that, man. But anywho's, things are messed up between men and women. You know, there's still people out there who do their thing and manage to be okay. But I'm dropping a 9-part series about this. Personally, I didn't want to shoot this. The kind of content that I want on my YouTube channel, I want to talk about the spiritual, mental, emotional, physical difficulties of just being a person. You know what I'm saying? That's what I want to talk about. I didn't want to talk about women and other stuff like that. And my channel, I ain't gonna lie, it's primarily for men. It is. It's primarily for men. I'm telling you. Because I'm more likely to get somewhere with a man than I am with a woman. And that's just in general, man. I don't meet a lot of women who are even honest, man. A lot of women just in denial. Man, I be talking to women about some things, and then women are just good at blaming everything or anything. And if they can't blame something, they just act like it didn't happen. I'm more likely to get some honesty out of a man than I am for a woman. So my channel is really pro men. But it's really, above all, it's pro human. This is a humanitarian channel. So for y'all feminists who say y'all really want equality, if y'all really wanted equality, y'all wouldn't call your movement feminist. Y'all wouldn't have thrown nothing feminine or nothing like that. Y'all be humanitarians if y'all wanted equality. Y'all be humanitarians. With that being said, part 3 of 9. No, this is part 2 of 9. I'm about to drop part 3 of 9. I'm getting this out the way. I got other things I want to talk about. I'm gonna get this 9-part series out the way, and I ain't coming back for this. If I do, well then I spoke too soon. Outro. Hold on. Here we go. Outro.